cheapest bar in Oxford as well. Just plug that right there. And St John's want to buy us because they're evil.
I mean, you know, I'm not going to condone the USSR, but...
And therefore, I am a direct descendant of Jesus Christ. Mic drop.
Herewith.
My name's Evie, and I study history and English at Regent's Park College.
Regent's Park? Ooh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
What's Regent's Park like?
Small. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. And there are only like 35 freshers. So
that's tiny.
Yeah. So like
so you know everyone very well.
Everyone knows everyone. And also everyone knows everything. Everyone's done within like 2 hours. Yeah. Let alone like the next morning.
I mean, Oxford itself is very like insular in that sense. Like you hear about things very quickly. With a tiny college like that, you must. Wow.
Yeah. And like we know all the third years and second years and visiting students. Like it's all very much tight knit.
Regent's Park has ivy on the walls right now.
It's so
lovely.
Gorgeous. It's so gorgeous.
One of the reasons I chose Lincoln, which is where I studied, the ivy on the walls, the incredible library.
It's like touch the grass, but like a whole other level. You just touch the ivy and you're like, oh.
Yeah. And is it part green, part red at the moment?
At the moment, all red.
All red.
It's glorious.
Okay.
It's glorious.
How come it's such a small college?
Well, technically it's PPH, but we don't talk about that.
Wait, so what is a permanent private hall?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's like they don't really want to give us the funding to become a proper college, and St John's want to buy us because they're evil. It's like they have so much land, and then they're like, can we have you? And it's like, no. Stay on your side of the road. But it does the same thing. Yeah. It's just you don't have as much funding and there aren't as many people.
So does that mean that like the cost of living is higher? Like how much do you pay for meals?
So no, meals are great. Meals are great. Cheapest bar in Oxford as well. Just plug that right there.
Probably one of the smallest bars, right? Wow.
It's Diddy. Yeah, you don't have to pay for the alcohol. Can you get in though? It's because there isn't much funding. There's also lots of subsidies as well. So it's like you kind of work together to deal with the lack of funding, I think, is the situation.
That's cute. And did you apply to Regents? Or?
I did not.
Okay.
Because history and English is a joint schools, there aren't very many colleges that actually run it. There are like, I don't know, 7 or something ridiculous. So I just looked at them all in the like delirium that is Oxford application and we're like, you all look nice enough. I'm done. And just pop in open application.
Yeah. What's your favourite thing about Regent's Park?
Oh, tortoise.
You have a tortoise?
Oh, we've got a tortoise.
What's your tortoise called?
Tortoise is called Truffle. And I am slightly biased because I won a drawing competition in Freshers of the best drawing of Truffle.
Oh, wow.
And I put stickers on it and then just won. Gorgeous. Yeah? Gorgeous drawing. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Is the Regent's Park tortoise part of the tortoise race?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, she won her first race.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
She's like the little baby of the group because our old tortoise, Manny, like died. He was like ancient.
R.I.P. Manny.
Yeah, exactly. He was so old. But then Truffle turned up, like end of
turned up.
Yeah. And then like smashed the races out and everyone's like, Manny who? Truffle for the win.
Lincoln's tortoise is called Tortilla.
Oh, that's not very inventive.
Maybe not.
What are they going to do to her?
I think it's a him. For some reason, I always thought it was called George, our tortoise. I don't know why. It just looked like, how can a tortoise look like a George? That's what I want to know, but it did.
I can say most things have a distinct name.
Yeah, the platonic form of George, like applied to Tortilla the tortoise.
Create an abstract for George.
So what's the worst part about Regent's Park?
Ooh, my accommodation isn't as hot as other people's, I have to say. I mean, picking on St John's again, they've got like multiple rooms each.
Yeah.
It's
terrifying. They have like a separate living room.
Yeah, and some people have like their own little staircase. And I'm like, I went to Worcester the other day and got lost trying to find the JCR. It was terrifying. And I'm like, where am I? Who are all these scary posh people everywhere? And there's so many tiny staircases. I felt like I could have just like, I would have just ended up there forever. No one would have ever found me. But yeah, I mean, I've got double glazing. That's about it.
Nice. Tell me your favourite fun history fact.
Oh my God. History's awesome. So Brezhnev, one of the leaders of the USSR, he was very vain man, which kind of is like comes with the job. But he awarded himself over 100 medals throughout his time leading the USSR, and one of them was the Lenin Prize for Literature, which he awarded to his own autobiography.
That's incredible.
Which I think is like the ultimate girl boss move. And he's just like, gatekeeping his own existence via medals. He had to get his little chest plate extended to fit all of his medals on it.
He's like the essence of RuPaul.
If you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you gonna love somebody else?
And then suddenly you're the leader of the USSR and it becomes so true on so many levels.
It's kind of like there was similar things for like Kim Jong-il, I want to say, about the sort of the myth or the story of his creation, like how he was born and like sprung up from, you know, in a sort of Aphrodite way from like the sea, and how he has only ever played golf once and he got a hole-in-one on every single thing, and he bowls like a perfect 300 whenever he goes bowling, and all of this propaganda about him.
Amazing.
Kind of iconic. I mean, you know, I'm not going to condone the USSR, but... What's your favorite English fun fact?
Ooh, English fun facts. I mean, you've got all the lovely little romantics facts, like Byron's bear and everything, but they're a bit old news.
Tell them anyway.
Tell them anyway? Okay,
yeah.
Right. So we've got the romantics, and they're all completely self-obsessed and vain, and they think they're going to save the world by writing down a couple of metaphors every now and then. I love the romantics, I promise. Byron was a caricature of himself on purpose. Like, you think that we've exaggerated the stereotypes of Byron over the years. We don't. We really haven't. He was just like that. He had a pet bear that he used to carry around the London gardens on a lead, just to like freak out his neighbours because he could. And this is a bit of a sad one. It sort of demonstrates his like general life. He decided that his poetry, as it turned out, wasn't actually changing the world, and so he thought he'd go and fight in the Greek Civil War. And he goes to Greece, and on his way to the battlefield, he catches like a disease, and he goes to the hospital, and the doctors are so freaked out that they're treating Lord Byron, the celebrity, that they put so many leeches on him that he doesn't die of the fever, he dies of loss of blood. The pap got him. they took him out.
Got him. The pap being leeches in this. I mean, I suppose they are.
Doctors.
And so now you can tell your less mainstream fun fact that you want to tell.
I've been doing Anglo-Saxon poetry and like Beowulf and stuff. One of the things about Beowulf is that it's supposedly really pagan, and so none of the Christian kings really liked it because it demonstrated pagan wealth and pagan rituals and pagan kingship. Alfred, as in Alfred the Great, the guy, our man, defeated the Vikings. That's what we all like to think, and he was the one for promoting sort of Christian propaganda and uniting the country in order to be able to defeat the Vikings. But in the meantime, all of his like earls and barons were making up their genealogies and like their family trees to fit the characters in Beowulf. So they were just sat there claiming, they were like, yeah, no, like my great-great-great-granddad was like Beowulf's cousin. And they were just claiming that their family were these fictional, although they were derived from real families, warriors, at the same time as being like, yeah, but God.
That's kind of what the Greeks did, right? Like Greeks would always claim that they were related to, I mean, everyone and their sister was related to Hercules in some way, right? And like Achilles.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
there was this one guy who was like, okay, so I'm related to this guy who's in Beowulf, and he's related to this other guy who's related to this other guy who's the son of Woden. And we're like, oh, okay, yeah, no, classic. And then he goes, but hear me out. Woden is related to Noah, and Noah is related to Jesus Christ, and therefore I am a direct descendant of Jesus Christ. Mic drop.
Incredible. So where are you from?
I'm Devon.
Okay,
yeah.
Right. I couldn't place your accent. How many people, do you know anyone at Oxford from Devon?
There was like a Devon meetup, and I didn't go because it sounded terrifying. But they just sort of sat there and drank cider and didn't talk to each other. That sounds really sad.
Woo, Devon.
No, there's a couple of people who were from my secondary, but not from my college, who are here. But I've met a couple of people from Cornwall. Which
is there beef between like Devon and Cornwall? There's so much beef between Devon and Cornwall.
It's basically our entire personalities.
Oh dear.
Yeah, just never mention scones and you'll be fine.
Okay.
That's just as a rule.
To Devonians? Or
and
just,
the Cornish.
Oh, between
And especially if there's two of them in the room, or you won't be able to talk about anything else for the rest of the night.
Yeah, because is the debate whether you put the jam or the cream first?
Yeah.
And what do you put first?
The cream.
The cream.
Obviously.
Okay.
Obviously, it's the only way.
I think I agree with that.
Good. good.
Because the cream is like more viscous.
Yeah.
And it won't stick. Yeah, no, because
It's
it like
it's the right
covers
way.
the crumbs
Yeah.
from the scone more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think I agree
Yeah.
with you. Now I'm going to interview
Absolute
someone
green
from
flag.
Cornwall and say the exact opposite.
I'll be watching the video later. I'll be like, traitor.
Yeah, it'll be like everything I've ever known is a lie. What did the royal family do? I feel like this is also part of the debate, right?
Oh, I don't. Well, I'm not really a royalist.
Yeah, fair. Me neither.
I don't really try.
I'm so
I try
indifferent
to
to
keep
the royal
away
family.
from it all. I had a fair few friends who were very much into it.
Right.
But I tend to pull away from that element of the goss.
Fair. we won't discuss them anymore then. What's your favourite book?
Oh my lord! You just asked an English student what their favourite book
Yeah,
was. What
I
do you
did.
think you're doing
I
here?
know.
Ah, there are two books which I just adore and actually work really well together, but people never think to compare. And they're both really obscure.
What is going on here? Do they? Okay,
Oh,
cool.
never actually seen those before. Okay. So there's this book called Ocean Sea.
Okay.
By this guy called Alessandro, Italian name beginning with B.
Bocelli.
And it's beautiful, and the structure is just incredible and insane. It catches you off guard like every other chapter, and yet at the same time it's completely unified, and like the sea means a lot to me. I grew up on the coast, and so I was reading it and I was like, this is me. And then there's this book which is fiction. It's technically teen fiction, but it's like, which is called Starless Sea. By Emily Morgenstern. And again, it's incredible. Like, you know, when you read fiction, you're like, yeah, okay, this is the same as the other world that all the other fiction writers created ever. And you read this one and it's like, I have never read a book that creates a world that is as unique as this
Really?
before.
Has really good world
Yeah.
building. What kind of
Yeah.
things?
The concept is that it's this world that is reliant on and built by and lives off of stories. And so it's this completely subterranean library that exists underneath our world, but also slightly parallel to our world, that kind of grows and exists upon itself and is fueled by the Starless Sea, which is this sea of honey, which is composed of like imagination and creativity and that like bottomless pit that you can get into when you're within fiction and storytelling. Throughout it, there are layered these different texts that are actually part of the story, and it's one of those ones where each character is part of a meta-narrative as well as the individual aspects of the plot. Yeah, it's very, very cool.
Incredible.
Very cool book.
What do you want to do after your history and English degree?
I really want to be a journalist.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Preferably like a foreign correspondent. I've been going to a lot of talks. There are talks on all the time.
Oxford's very good for talking.
It's good at the talking. It's like every evening I'm like, oh my god, okay, so I could go clubbing or go on a bar crawl or go to these three incredible people and listen to them talk. And what if I did all of them?
Yeah.
And then I don't sleep.
So foreign correspondent.
Foreign
That'd be very
correspondent.
cool.
It would be
That'd
really,
be very
really
cool.
cool.
Biggest ick. Sorry, this
Just in life or at Oxford?
Nah, because in life.
In life?
Yeah.
Oh, putting the jam on first on a scone.
Nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Would you like some chocolate?
I would love some chocolate.
Amazing.